What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I hope that you guys are having a wonderful day. It's a gorgeous Thursday. It's sunny and bright and beautiful. Listen, Shannon Sharpe, I feel like it's a wrap for his career, unfortunately. ESPN, they actually responded to the statement that is on Shannon Sharpe's social media. He just put it up about an hour ago. I'm going to read it to you, and then I'm going to read you ESPN's response as well. So his statement right now on his social media platforms, it's reads as follows. My statement is found here, and this is the truth. The relationship in question was 100% consensual. At this juncture, I am electing to step aside temporarily from my ESPN duties. I will be devoting this time to my family and responding and dealing with all these false and disruptive allegations set against me. I plan to return to ESPN at the start of the NFL preseason. I sincerely appreciate the overwhelming and ongoing support I have received from my family, fans, friends, and colleagues. Shannon Sharpe. It reads very much like it's, from his publicist, a PR statement. And I will say this, even though you may plan on returning, right? If you know anything about Disney and their morality clauses within those contracts, you can ask anybody, any teenager from a Disney show could tell you, Raven-Symoné, Zendaya, whoever the case may be, and all of their subsidiaries, ABC, ESPN, etc., they can tell you that the mouse in his house, they don't play these games. You being on audio talking about how you're going to physically harm her, put your arms or your hands around her neck and cause her physically to be harmed, there's nothing funny about that. That's definitely a violation of that clause. And even Cat Williams, not that I'm thinking back on his, past interviews with a lot of entertainers, more specifically comedians that he interviewed, they were all trying to warn him. Monique told him straight to his face, you need to date somebody your own age. And I made a separate video about that. And I'm not going to rehash what Cat Williams said, but he basically said he was scared, of dating, certain women because he didn't want to be running down the street like Jonathan Majors. He was like, you can be Kang the Conqueror, and they'll ruin your whole career in 2 weekends flat. And Shannon, being as dense as he is, he didn't catch any of that. He's like, oh, come on, Cat. Come on, Cat. And now look, grand opening, grand closing. Gabriella, the young woman in question, allegedly the Jane Doe, said that he made $6 million off of that one Cat Williams interview. $6 million is life-changing money. And he was supposedly, I don't know if he signed the contract for the $100 million podcast or not. I don't know if the ink is dry on that or not. Because if it's not, that may be in question as well. Let me go ahead and let's get into this article, because this is a mess. It says Shannon Sharpe's take, or he takes a break from ESPN's first take after the R accusations and the $50 million lawsuit. Shannon Sharpe has offered his last words on ESPN's first take for the foreseeable future in the wake of the accusations and a $50 million lawsuit from a Nevada woman who alleges that the NFL player R-ed her and threatened her in the course of their 2-year relationship. In a statement posted on X, Sharpe said that he was electing to step aside temporarily. See, and that's the gag, right? I feel like they let him write this to try to save some kind of, dignity or, act like he's stepping away on his own accord. I can almost guarantee you that Disney is not going to invite him to come back. Where he is featured prominently on First Take, the Hot Talk Sports Roundtable led by Stephen A. Smith. And Stephen A. Smith, he's talking about it as well. It's a wrap, Shannon. He says that he plans, I'm sure he plans to return to ESPN at the start of the NFL preseason. You keep believing that if you want to. You also believe that this young woman was, interested in you for anything else than the dollar bills. But seeing that type of delusion will take you down. You know what I mean? Mo was trying to warn him. Cat Williams was trying to warn him. And he just sat there, just, grinning and snitting. Just $100 million down the drain. Wow. ESPN, now this is what they said in their statement today. They said, quote, this is a serious situation and we agree with Shannon's decision to step away, end quote. Very concise, right? They allowed him more dignity than he gave that young girl. They allowed him to step away to write this statement as if, this was his own autonomous decision, that he had agency in this decision. It's a wrap, Shannon. You'll never work for ESPN again. I can almost guarantee you that. I bet you $100 million that you will not. His absence is likely to give the network and its parent company the time required to determine whether Shannon should continue on their talent roster. Even if all of this, which again, we have the tape. See, that's the thing about being, recorded. You're on tape. But even if they were to look past it, they're still not going to invite you back because there's too much dirt attached to your name. That whole adage of, a man's reputation is all that he has. It's a wrap. The relationship in question was 100% consensual. Oh, this is the article, but they're just reading his statement that he has right now. Sharpe typically appears on First Take on Mondays and Tuesdays and also hosts a podcast called Club Shay Shay. I hope you saved and invested that money, Shannon. You're going to need it. He was recognized as one of the greatest NFL tight ends in history. Sharpe, who played predominantly with the Denver Broncos, gained traction as a sportcaster by holding forth with Skip Bayless on Fox Sports Undisputed. He joined ESPN as a First Take contributor in 2023, and he unveiled a new pact with ESPN in 2024, under which Sharpe was supposed to expand his presence on the popular program. Like I said, man, grand opening, grand closing. And this is just ridiculous because that is life-changing money. I mean, you think about it, the millions of dollars, that were being offered to Shannon is so rare, especially after you hit a certain age, to just throw it all away. And for what? You guys weren't in a serious relationship. You weren't married. You don't have any children together. There was just nothing there except like race play and, BDSM. And listen, what people choose to do in their own bedrooms is their business until it's not. Until you start making threats to physically harm somebody. When you do that, then it's no longer a mutually, consensual relationship, especially if you look at the power dynamics between the two. She was, and she was petite, she was curvy, but she's also petite, 19, 20 years old. You're 30 plus years her senior, an NFL or tight end. Like, Shannon, come on, man. You're too old, too seasoned in this game to just throw it all away for somebody who essentially was just trying to, no pun intended, trying to trick you out of your money, which, to be honest, she did. It reminds me of Jonathan Majors. I feel like they keep going after these, one specific demographic, these petite younger women. And if they can't take your money for themselves, then they're going to try to tank your career so that you lose it all. I'm telling you, Cat Williams, when he said that he didn't want to be running down the street like Jonathan Majors and that they could ruin your whole career in 2 weekends, he wasn't just saying that to be funny. He was absolutely dead serious. And if you look at his track record, it shows. He's wise enough to know that. And he was trying to put you on game as well, but you couldn't catch it. You was just, skinning and grinning and just, my grandparents used to say that all the time. Sorry. But and when they used to tell me that, they were about your age, Shannon. You should be giving wisdom to, your grandkids. You over here chasing people that's younger than your children. That's not a good look. And this isn't even somebody who, wasn't telling you what she wanted. Baby gravy, stop. Stop it. That is ridiculous. She's on OnlyFans. This girl is all about her money, period. And if she can't have your money, then she don't want you to have it either. She says she gonna get it by hook and by crook. And when you offer her $10 million, she turned that down. She should have took the 10 million. I'm sorry. I don't even know this young woman, but if you're willing to go on OnlyFans and you're trying to extort $10 million out of a retired football player, you should have just took the 10 mil. But talking to Tony Busby, she thought that she could get more. And you know what? He might be right. He might, after all of this, he might be able to win that $50 million lawsuit. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like you have a lot of, income streams coming in. They're all kind of drying up all at the same time. Like Diddy. It's unfortunate. You still have your freedom for now. I don't know if Tony's going to, turn this into a criminal case or not. Especially with, now that there are new laws coming out that don't limit the statute of limitations. That's how Cassie was able to file her lawsuit. I don't know. I don't know if she's going to file, a civil lawsuit against you, or I would lawyer up. But then again, that's more money, down the drain. But I hope you have, well, actually, I can't even say that because you threatening, to harm this girl. I'm telling you, you reap what you sow, man. You can't continue to treat people poorly and think that everything is going to work out. It seems like because she was on OnlyFans and because when I listen to her talk, she talks very slowly. I'm not saying that she has any type of, cognitive decline, but she does speak in a cadence that's very slow and very measured. And, she's very young. I feel like he thought that was somebody that he can control. The power dynamics, like I said, just not even physically, but also financially, were so different between them that he was looking for somebody that he could, essentially dominate. And this is not the first time that people have filed charges, restraining orders. Like the more I find out about Shannon Sharpe that I didn't know in the past, because I really didn't follow his career like that. I wasn't a big sports person. I didn't learn really about Shannon Sharpe until his show with Skip Bayless and then with the Cat Williams interviews when he blew up. And that was just last year. So it's only been like a year and a half, maybe even less, that he's been in the spotlight, in the mainstream, I should say, outside of the sports world. But yeah, this is a mess. This is a mess. You threw your whole career away for somebody that you didn't even have a long-term relationship with. Anyway, you guys, let me know your thoughts. I'll keep you updated if anything else new is coming out. I want to hear your thoughts. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will talk with you in the next one. Take care, Aces. Bye.